Well, it says we're live, so
All
I'm
right.
going to assume we're live. I don't know.
Okay. Awesome.
I was just telling, welcome everybody. This is Turn Back the Clock, episode number 5. I'm your host, Adam. That's your other host, Dylan. And I did one live before by myself, and I had to delete it because afterwards I realized that my audio was all messed up. So like it would go in and out. So that was a fail. This is my second attempt at a live, and we'll see what happens. Maybe it will go better.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm pulling up my TV screen now. I just got it started, so we'll see. Oh, there I am. Okay, I'm on my big screen. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the sound. It still sound good?
Yeah, I just pulled it. I pulled up YouTube on my other browser, and it gave me an echo, so I just shut it off. Whatever.
Okay. I wonder, and then I want to get the live chat going. Live. This is nuts. Okay, now at least I think I can read the live chats. Okay, we got one guy. Somebody's watching.
A collector's dream. Orlando is here.
Yeah, Orlando. Of course, that's awesome. Stoked. He's probably popping in. He's probably popping into like 4 different ones right now. I've already seen him in a couple.
Orlando is the live king, man. Last night I saw him. I swear to God, he was on. I know he like went to one then to the other, but for me it looked like he was on 2 lives at the same time. I was like, man, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh shoot, did I lose you?
No, I see you.
You see me. That's so weird. All right, how do I get out of that? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out if I could reply, or I guess I don't need to reply, right? I just talk.
Yeah, I think so. You see the comments, right?
I can't see anything. Is there any comments yet? I don't see anything.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That one.
Weird. I wonder why I don't see them. Let me try it again.
You have on your StreamYard. This is great. This is great show right here. When you see comments on your StreamYard, like right-hand corner, like there's a little button that you can trigger comments for on your right side. I don't know if you're on your phone. I'm on a laptop, so
I'm on a iPad.
Oh.
So weird. Oh shoot. I might not be able to see any of them. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Live chat. All right, somebody chat. Somebody say something. Let's see if it pops up. Orlando, you still there? It's a good show so far.
Yeah, this is great.
Running so smoothly.
But it's already going better than my last one. So it's
okay, good. Oh yeah, well, there we go. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Now I see him. Sick. Yeah, 4 leafs in here. All right, thanks guys. Appreciate. Now I can see him. All right,
well, guys. What we're gonna do today or tonight? We're gonna really talk for the most of the time here. We're gonna talk about grading companies, slabs, a lot of opinions. This is gonna be a heavy opinionated show from me, from you, Dylan, but also hopefully the chat can chime in. Or if you catch this after the fact tomorrow or whatever, leave the comments in the comment section because I actually have a couple legitimate questions that I would like to get some feedback and advice on that have to do with grading, and I'll pose them in a couple minutes. But one of the reasons we want to do this live is maybe get some live feedback on questions and opinions. So first though, I gotta bring something up. You did, Dylan, on your channel, you did a 1970s panel, which was fantastic, and my mind was blown because this show is really in honor of cards on cards. Turn back the clock, right? And for a while I thought turn back the clock cards were the first ever cards on cards. Then I realized 1975 Tops a while back had those, which obviously you're huge with those. And I always thought 1975 Tops was the first card on cards. And then I just realized from your episode, the 1974, what are they called? Specials?
Yeah, the specials. Hank Aaron special for that.
I don't know. Man, I do have no idea how I didn't know about those. Maybe I did. I just never registered. But I think you guys, what do you think as far as, are those the official first card on cards? Dylan, you think so, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and Adam, I like to blow mine. So yeah, that's how I do it. I've got them right here. I've got one.
Oh, there we
share. Go. So, I just love these. And this is like me when I display cards. I take a lot from everybody from the community too. I've learned so much, and my displays would change because that, like TJ Maxx, Terry, he's always about displaying cards and what go together. So I have this on my wall. I just took it down, and then obviously I have I had all the cards next to it to go with it, card on card style. And I always love looking at it. Eventually I'll have the entire run and be able to do an entire Hank Aaron wall, but I'm missing a couple. I think I'm missing the 61 and 57, just a few. But these, I have the whole collection of these, of course, because I just love them, and they're all graded. So yeah, the card on card thing, man, it's extra special for me. And just like the Pete Rose 86 tops, they have that, and I have the collection of those. And I would love to display my Pete Rose in order. Same thing. One day I'll do the whole wall with just card on cards. That's the goal. The MVPs, the 74s, and the 86, and just go after it. So yeah, I'm glad we taught you something there on my show, because I don't know a lot like these other guys. I focus on the cards, so I guess I know a lot about cards, but not like the players on the cards as much as some guys know, like facts and everything. But yeah, I'm glad we brought that up for you.
Yeah, I think I probably know more about like sports. I mean, I definitely do. I know more about sports and the players than I do about cards. Like, I'm definitely not the card factoid guy. I don't know how many cards were in that set. And like you can see here, I didn't even know about these. I mean, and that's pretty. I mean, that's not. I wouldn't say that's an obscure thing. Those cards,
no,
they're in the top set.
There.
And so, I think I've just been down my own lane so long that like I don't have a broad knowledge, but like, Mickey Mantle, Larry Bird, Tom Brady, stuff like that. So yeah, that was cool to learn that. So, and Orlando thinks, I trust Orlando. He thinks that's the first time they have a card on
thank
card.
God, right?
So
Phew, got that one.
Who knows though? Maybe my mind will be blown in the future and we'll discover something else. But yeah, as of now, I'm saying 74 first cards on cards. I don't know why I love them so much. I always did when I was kids. I still do it as an adult. The idea of it is just cool to me. I don't know. So
hold on. I do have one more card on card that I'm thinking off the top of my head. Jimmy Fox. It's not just Jimmy Fox, but I don't know if you guys can see him, but right there, the 4-player play balls. Those are card on cards. And now that I think about it, the 1935 Gaudy 4-in-1s have pictures of the prior year or the year before cards. So blew my own mind right now.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Oh man.
It just keeps getting older and older.
That's awesome. That's so sick.
Wow. Well, there we go. So, all right. That was just a little, I guess we'll call that the turn back the clock portion of the show, where we go back. What we want to focus mostly on though, guys, is grading. Something we've been thinking about for a while. I love graded cards. That's primarily what I collect. I look at it, grading cards as a service, but for me, it's about the end product. I love graded cards. I love the way they look, display. I love the labels. It's just, for me, that's how I like to collect. And, nothing against raw cards or anything like that, but I'm a big fan of graded cards. And so I have a lot of opinions. I have opinions on the companies, the slabs. Dylan, I know you do too. So what we were thinking we might do here, we'll jump around, but to kind of keep it a little focused, I was thinking we'll run through the major grading companies and we'll go like give one thing we like, one thing we dislike or hope they would improve, and then give a scenario where you would start submitting cards to that company if they did X or if they changed this. Obviously, we recently submitted a PSA, so we already submit there. I've submitted to SGC, but we're going to go through SGC, PSA, BGS, BVG, CSG, and even tag grading, one of the newest ones. So let's go. Let's start with what do you want to start with? Do you care?
Why don't we start with, maybe we should start with our least favorite, or each, I guess we're going to talk about the same one. So
what company you want to go? You want to start PSA? You want to start?
Let's go BGS,
okay.
BVG.
All right.
Goods and bads.
So you want to go first?
Sure. Right. So BGS, I don't have any BGS at the moment, but BVG, same company. This is an old one with the subgrades. Now, when I first started collecting graded cards, I was a big fan of BVG. It was BGS at the time. I have a BGS Henderson, Ricky Henderson rookie on my wall, literally BGS. So that's how long I've been collecting slabs, like since the beginning. And the slab to me always was a little bulky and it chips. I've received numerous BGS slabs. Everybody says they're the ultimate strong ones, but the plastic on them shatters. It's a different type of plastic, where the PSA ones, you can kind of bounce these off the ground a little bit, a lot more than you can a BGS. The thing I hate the most about these cards is they put an inner sleeve inside. I've talked about this over and over again. It's my biggest rant about any grading company's cards is the sleeves. I just don't understand why we want to look through another sleeve after looking through glass already. I think that's a huge flaw, and it's like the grading companies aren't listening to us talk about it. I know there's some people that like the inner sleeve, and I'm not quite sure why, because your card's already protected. You don't need it. It doesn't need to be in there. I know some that are really small that hold them in place. I can understand exceptions to every rule, just like in anything in life. Always exceptions, but BVG and BGS, I think that is a huge flaw in my mind, but really the main reason I think their downfall was the subgrades. Now, subgrades are awesome, okay? As a collector, you look at it and you can instantly see what's wrong with the card. But that also gives you the leeway to nitpick the card and to like really like say, oh, that needs to be that should, I don't want this, I don't want that. To me, it's a leeway that makes you nitpick the card. And their 9.5 Gem Mint 10 was a mistake from the beginning. At one time, the Gem Mint 10s from Beckett were worth more than PSA 10s when I was collecting. They were like the ones you wanted to have. But that doesn't make, the doubt comes into play when you have a 9.5 and not a thing that says a 10 on there. So I think their downfall was I don't think their downfall was the sleeve inside. That's a pet peeve of mine. I can't stand that. I think their downfall were subgrades and the half grades they give for 9.5s versus just going from 9 to a 10. Because it just gives you that it gives you that thing that I just can't handle it. Yeah, the cloudiness, impact player, like it doesn't make sense. Why you want to look through a cloudy thing? That's already not the clearest glass in the world, and then you got to look through that sleeve. And a lot of like the I've noticed the 58 cards, it just gives this like weird, doesn't give it a good clean look. So that's kind of my negative on them, and my positive is that they're legit. They've been around forever. You're not going to get a fake card from them. You're not going to get, you're going to buy one and you're getting a legit graded company. Beckett's been around forever. And it's just like, you can have confidence in it. Whether that 5.5 is a 5.5 with another company is kind of irrelevant in my mind, because you get what you pay for. You're going to pay a lower price for a BVG or a Beckett card rather than a PSA. So I don't really consider that in my equation. When I'm hunting for cards, I still hunt for Beckett. I still hunt for BVG. I'm more like, is the card legit? Is it have a fair chance? Is a 5 look good? Is the card look good in it? So my rants are basically just the sleeve and their 0.5 system from 9.5 to, and the subgrades. I don't think they're needed. They're cool, but that adds a doubt factor. Yeah, Shane, you made it. That's sick.
Hey, Shane.
Be asleep by now.
I learned Shane's a Pearl Jam fan, so I mean,
he's a concert connoisseur. He goes to many concerts.
Shane, man. Anyway,
he's a legend.
BVG. Okay, I got a question. So, like, I have a BVG right here. This is a AL Bombers card, 1964 tops. Why does mine have the subgrades on the front and yours were on the back?
I think yours is older. I'm not sure when they decided to do it on the back and the front, but I have some on the front as well. I think my one up there I have on the front. I like the front ones better as a collector. You can kind of see what it is. Like, I'm not anti the subs, like I said, but I think that's a downfall. But yeah, I don't know why. Oh, here. But I never liked with BVG that the flip color changes for lower graded cards. Okay. The flip color changes for lower graded cards. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I got some
Besides the
examples
9.5.
here, like, I don't just collect vintage, as you guys might know. So, but okay, so the subgrades, number one, okay, on some it's on the back, on some it's on the front, and then you said, and I have some too, where there's no subgrades. When did BVG get rid of subgrades, and why? Why did they for vintage, but their modern cards have always had the subgrades, right?
I think it was an option you pay for.
Okay.
Is my understanding. I believe it's an option you pay for. I've never sent a card to Beckett, but I've looked at it, and I think it's something you just pay for an extra. Back then it was probably $2.
But now, if I grade vintage with Beckett, you can still get subgrades? Do you know that?
I have no idea. Probably should have done a little research beforehand.
Is that, guys, in the chat? We're starting to get some more traction here. There we are. Look who just joined.
Yeah, Mike. Woo. Yeah.
YouTube Sports Card Hall of Famer right there.
Absolutely. So he's a BGS fan. See, there you go. Nothing wrong with that.
I like Beckett. I mean, I love Beckett. I've always loved it. I do like certain things, right? So that's one thing. And this is a common thing with a lot of these grading companies. Their branding and marketing is just horrific. I mean, they have horrible branding, like through the years, changing things. They don't have, like, they're good at grading cards, a lot of these companies, but man, they do not know how to create a market and create brand loyalty. I mean, it's just some of the moves they've made are just crazy over the years. And the moves they haven't made over the last couple of years, since popularity has skyrocketed, and some of these companies we'll get into, have just stood pat and done nothing.
And their website's tough. Like, I'm not an expert in websites, but when I go on there, like, you have a website for the graded authentic autographs, and then you have this, and then you're like, I don't know, I struggle with it. So it might be just me. I just struggle with it.
So Orlando Collector's Dream likes Beckett for modern. So on that topic, I have a bunch of Beckett for modern cards, Tom Brady. So here's an example. Yeah, this is a 9.5 gem mint with all 9.5 subgrades, and it has the gold label, which I like. I think it matches nice. It looks really nice. It does have the sleeve though. And okay, I don't know if this is something, I've never submitted cards to Beckett. I've only bought them. I've never submitted, but if they don't have this, they should definitely have a little checkbox when you grade cards. Do you want an inner sleeve or not? I mean, how hard is it?
Yeah, agreed, right? It should be a choice.
I know that running a card grading company is not easy. There's a lot of moving parts. You need a lot of people, and anytime you have people, it's complicated. People are complicated, employees. There's a lot of things, a lot of departments. I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but really, you can't. Have you not heard that people don't like the inner sleeve? You can't have an option, no inner sleeve. I mean, that's crazy. I don't think they have that still. So
I've never heard of a card getting damaged in without a sleeve. I used to just shake them around, right? Like, they're not going to get damaged. There's too much touching. So the inner sleeves it's ridiculous to me. It really is.
I want to stay positive though for Beckett.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love him.
I mean, we love Beckett. We love Dr. Beckett. We love, we grew up in the 80s. We love the brand Beckett, and I want it to make a comeback. But I will say they do have, in my opinion, the best, I guess, what do you call it? The best label in grading, in my opinion. And that is the black label. I mean, for me, this thing looks awesome. I love it. Look at that. I know, but I do. I like it.
I just don't understand these extra labels they put on. Like, SGC has the gold 10. Like, PSA doesn't have an extra 10, like a 10 plus. Like, I don't get the point of those. It's just another way to say this card's even better. Like, how is that even a possibility?
Well, it's all 10s, all 10 subgrades.
I know. I don't know. Okay, I guess if you got the subgrade showing, that makes a little more sense than the SGC 10 gold.
Yeah, so 9.5, it's all based on the subgrades. If you have all 9.5s or whatever, a 9.5 is going to have the gold. And if you had all 10s in 195, they have a pristine, so that's a 10. And then they have the black label. I like the black label. I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
But I know simplification's nice, but I like it's hard to get them. I mean, I just bought this one, so
yeah.
But
wait, so there, you said there's a 9.5, there's a 10 that isn't black label as well?
Yeah, I don't have one with me. So it's all based on subgrades. This is
Subgrade.
all
So
10.
if the equivalent equals a 10, averages out to a
Yes.
10.
Now,
all 10s get that. Okay.
This is called a pristine. I'm sorry. The other one is if you have all 10s, 3 10s and 195, you get the whatever that is, a 10, a 10, but not the black label. The black label is if you have perfect 10 on all 4 subgrades,
Okay. All right. Well, good. I learned something. I've never seen one of those in the flesh or in this.
They're really rare.
Another world.
Yeah, you don't see them much. But anyway, I like that thinking. Like, for example, we'll get to SGC, but they have a gold label, which I have one here. And that's one negative thing. It's, in my opinion, not great looking. It's very if you get a perfect card, like a perfect 10, it should really pop. Like, this is special, a black label, like you could tell what it is. So that's an issue I have with SGC. But so what would have to change for you to submit whether it's vintage or Mike Trout cards or whatever? What would have to change at Beckett for you to submit cards to them?
Well, shout out Mr. Fisherbike. Jason's on here. Thanks, dude. I mean, right now they're in the losing bracket. So for me to switch over, get rid of the sleeves, even keep the case, I don't care. Your price has got to be like $8. Like, the only way I'm going to grade a card with them is if it's half the price of PSA. That's it for me. Like, even if you kept the inner sleeve and you put it to half price, I'd probably submit some cards to them, especially some nostalgic cards that just mean something to me and I want them slabbed. There's a place for that, but not their BG, BS, BC, CG, or whatever they did for a while. It was just like ridiculous. Remember they did that?
Oh yeah, the BC.
Yeah. Oh man, that was not a good idea. I just never understood those.
Again, what's going on with the branding? Come on.
There's probably a lot of heads going a lot of different places after Beckett left, and I don't know. I'm speculating.
All right, so I agree. For me, because like, if you're going to grade with Beckett, you're not right now. You're not thinking about resale value. Like, if you're grading cards to flip them and sell, you're going PSA, and maybe that changes. But we're kind of taking the resale value thing out of this conversation because that's obvious. PSA sells for the most. So if that's your goal and you don't care about anything else, obviously you're going PSA. We're talking about, like, as a collector, if you have an awesome wall like Dylan has there, what cards do you want to show? What do you like looking at from a slab? What do you like holding from a label? So those are the things that we want to talk about. I agree. I think get rid of the inner sleeve, and I'd be
lower your prices.
Lower the price. Yeah, I'd be down with it.
Until you gain us again.
Yep. And if there isn't an option to have subgrades for vintage, they should. I think they should. It should be all like check boxes. It's not that hard. Like, and I think some of these companies could even experiment with different slabs, right? Like the next company, let's talk about CSG, right? Let's go CSG next, because I know you've said it, I've said it. From a slab quality acrylic, it's the nicest. This is old school, but crystal clear and just feels high quality. So I don't know what's stopping some of these other companies from whatever that acrylic is to get some of those and, offer that too. Maybe you charge more for it, right? Because I'm sure it costs more, but have an option. What slab do you want? You want the premium acrylic, or do you want the standard? I don't know. That's just so anyway, CSG, you want to go first? Let me know something other than obviously the slab's awesome. What else do you like about CSG? If there's anything you like about it.
Oh, I like CSG. I think the slab's awesome. This one actually has an inner sleeve, so they have the inner sleeve problem as well. And my buddy Matt, he did a rant about it. I don't understand the inner sleeve. Like, stop. No, doesn't make if PSA, the greatest grading company in the world, doesn't do inner sleeves except on exceptional small cards that move around. Why are these guys doing it? I don't understand. It's so clear. There is a clearer glass than this, which we're going to talk about later, and that's tag. But with that said, I mean, maybe it's the same, but tag has a different feel to it. But these CSGs, I don't really have any complaints. I would use them if the price point was lower, if they were $8 a card. And Matt touched on this as well. I just that's kind of it. They're legit. They've graded comics forever. They're going to be around forever. I really like it. I know people really complaining about the green slab. And you know what's funny? My wife, we had a big talk the other night. I was telling her what the show was going to be about, and she gave me a lot of tips and a lot of pointers. And the first thing she noticed was she hated this flip.
Yeah.
Everybody hates the flip. I never even noticed the flip. It didn't bother me. I go, I don't understand what the difference is between the black one and the green one. I really don't care. The flip's never been an issue for me, but now that my wife like really pushed things down my throat, and then she's like, the numbers are huge. Just like, I know I'm jumping shit, but same thing. She's like, all I see is the number. And I go, you're right. I do see that. Like when you have a PSA on your wall, you're looking at the card. You're not looking at the number grade. You're not looking at anything but the card. And I'm really starting to realize that I hate the numbers so dang big on these things. So if I change anything with CSG, their grading scale, I think, in my opinion, is not nearly as strict as PSA, and I don't think it's as strict as SGC. I think it's above Beckett, definitely above BVG, but not by a lot. So I think they're not as strict. But that's just me on the cards that I've seen, in my opinion. A lot of people are differ, especially modern's completely different ball game than vintage. I heard they're very strict on modern, but I don't know. So I wouldn't really change anything except take out the inner sleeve, lower your price, and perfect slab. I'd make the grade smaller.
See, and it's funny. Well, first of all, your wife, as you've mentioned before, is an artist, so she's got that eye for this. I'm not an artist, but I do care about the label. Like for me, like I said at the beginning, the graded card's a product. I like the end product. I like the label. I like a nice looking label. Obviously, I want a good looking slab, but the label is important to me because again, I'm grading these cards. Yeah, of course, it increases the value of the cards and whatever, but and preserves them. But I'm grading them because I think they look better in with a nice label and graded, and I can put them on a wall like you have there. So yeah, with CSG. Now it's funny is I have two CSG cards here, and neither of them have an inner sleeve. So again, when do they put them in? Is it something I'm going to submit cards to CSG. I was thinking it's only fair if I'm going to talk about them, I should at least try the process. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, is there a checkbox where you can choose, do I want an inner sleeve or not? I don't know. But yeah,
I don't think there is, because Matt would probably have talked about that because he's such a fan. He knows his stuff about it.
And I guess a hot take that might not be popular is I don't like the label at all, right? I understand why, like even the things off-centered, like,
do you have the black one to give them a little justification?
Yeah, but first with this, I feel like the green they should have kept. I know people don't like the green, but again, it's your brand, green. You guys were green, and then they went to this label, which it's kind of, I don't know, it looks a lot like SGC, right? Yeah, like, are you guys trying to compete, or are you just trying to do what the other guys are doing? Think a little different. I would have kept maybe you do this label, but instead of the black, green. I know a lot of people don't like the green, but that was your color, so that was your brand. I guess you can rebrand, but I don't know. I kind of I would have thought this would have looked good if this was green for me. Something different. You could tell it's CSG rather than looking a lot like SGC with the big number and the black. So yeah, this is the new one. Again, crystal clear. And it looks good, but yeah, I don't think it distinguishes from a display thing. I don't think it distinguishes. I'm talking the label. It's okay. But they got.
I like the back.
The back looks cool. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. Yeah. Whatever this.
The autograph ones are cool. They put the number on the back. They're really cool.
Yeah. So again, if I'm these other companies, if I'm Beckett, even PSA, or like any of these other grading companies, you have to have heard what we're saying now. Like everyone's saying CSG has the best acrylic. Why are they not going out and acquiring that same acrylic or whatever it is and having that as a premium option on their submissions? Maybe they are, but that would be something I would look to do, because then you can essentially eliminate some of these companies, right? If I'm PSA and I'm hearing that, get me that slab, and I want to offer that, even if I can offer it for more money. Maybe it's double the price, but I think people would be willing to pay more for a better slab. If you put this acrylic with a PSA label on it, look out.
Dude, look out. Like,
look out.
How has that not happened yet? I'm so confused by it. The second I got a CSG, I was just like, this is ridiculously clear. And I don't understand the plastics out there. It's not, I would definitely pay more money. It cannot cost that much more. I mean, yeah, like you say, $2 more, click, yes.
Whatever.
Yes, yes, all day long. I want to see my card like there's nothing on it. So you know what's funny? Not
PMA.
to take your thunder.
Yeah.
So I'm like as you see my wall, my wife like hates the fact that I have a Frankenstein set. Mike Moynihan brought that up. I have like every slab under the sun, all the ones we're talking about. Okay, I got all of those ones we're talking about. Those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, now 5 with tag on my wall displayed, and I don't even notice the slabs. Okay, like I don't even notice them. I've never thought of that. My wife's getting in my head now, so now I'm like, oh my gosh, man, did I blow it? Should I not have had a Frankenstein set, and should I stuck to one thing? But I don't notice that. So a lot of people do, and I totally understand why people might look at my wall and be like, dude, I would never do that because that's crazy. But it doesn't bother me. Yeah, Dom.
What's up, Dom? Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm thinking like, man, like maybe I could go like, because I don't, like if I'm doing a player run, I want to do that player run all in the same slabs. That's kind of how I think. But if let's say I take on a new player run, I would be open to going like, all right, I'm only doing CSG for all my whatever, Ernie Banks cards. I'm going Ernie Banks all the way, and I want to be, I want to get in the CSG registry, and there's very little competition, so I can say I'm the best Ernie Banks collector on CSG, So stuff like that, you could carve out something. But again, you're with PSA out there, man. If they're gonna try, let's say they acquired that acrylic, what do you like? If you only got like one little thing going for you, it's tough. You're on shaky ground, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's. You know what's so funny now that I go, you guys all know I'm going down the centering road. There's no way you can collect one grading company. And I mean, if you like buying cards like I do, I sell cards to buy cards, but it is so hard to find a well-centered card. If I just like limited myself to one grading company, I'm definitely going to be like going, okay, I'll give up this and I'll get this. But if you're open like I am, that's the benefit. I can just look at all cards as themselves, as the card, not the actual slab. But I know we're talking about the slab, so it is a huge part of this whole thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously, buy the card for sure. Like that's why I have CSG, and that's why I have a ton of different ones. Is because, I'm not going to buy a card just because it's in a PSA holder. But I think we're also thinking like, let's say a brand new collector comes in, right? And they want to start grading cards. You have a lot of decisions to make. And let's say, again, the resale value is we're not factoring that in, right? Because let's say it's someone who just wants to build an awesome collection and they want to build a wall like Dylan has and create an awesome display. You have a lot of options. And, CSG, as we were just talking about, as the clearest slabs, that's something. So, I think I would definitely grade with them if I wasn't so far along already with PSA and some SGC, but mostly PSA. But a new collector, if they're less expensive. I don't think it's hard to justify a similar price to PSA, I think, at this point. So I agree there on the price.
Exactly. So our thoughts would be CSG needs to lower the price.
Yep.
And never do the inner sleeves unless they have to.
And I think I mentioned this on some video recently, but what about like if you're CSG, you're number 4 or whatever, you're back in the pack, all right? Maybe you're making money, but if you really want to like make a dent into PSA, what about like, hey, if you're a new customer, you get your first graded card for free. I know you're going to lose money. No company wants to lose money, but you might have to get some of your slabs on the market. And then obviously once someone gets one of these in their hand, then they more likely.
I know you love that idea, but your idea is like, it's giving free stuff away. And my wife, it's like, if you gave one art print away, some guy's going to buy more art prints. I don't like that idea. What I did like was your idea about, hey, cross over your PSA slabs with us. Cross market that. Bring us your SGC slabs and we'll slab them up for $8. We'll pop them out and we'll regrade them for $8. Give us your PSA slabs. Switch us over. Make us switch over. I don't want a free card graded. I want my collection. Like if I could just say $1,000 and all my cards are in the best slab on earth, these tags, which we'll talk about next, and they are all worth the same, man, I would do that in a heartbeat, right? $1,000, get all my cards reslabbed. I think that idea, that was your idea. I heard it on your last show. That to me is like a really, really good idea, because we haven't heard that.
Let's go to SGC next, because I need some feedback for you guys in the chat, and people who catch this tomorrow or whenever, in the comments. I am legitimately looking for feedback because, as you may know if you've watched my channel, I'm a Mickey Mantle collector, and one of the things I'm trying to do at some point is to complete the Mickey Mantle run. And because I started collecting years back, it's been in PSA mostly. I was buying PSA slabs. I didn't even know any other grading companies other than Beckett. But since then, I have acquired some Mickey Mantle cards in SGC, and I got a really good deal on this one. This is a SGC 8 of the, really great.
That's a nice one.
Great nice, tough card to find centered. SGC 8. I bought this one on Twitter like 2 years ago or whatever. Got a real good deal on it. So I'm like kind of ahead on this card. You know what I mean? So one of the things I would like to do, no disrespect to SGC, but because I'm making that Mantle run, I want to make it in all PSA slabs, just because I have OCD with that, and I'm doing the registry. So I want to ideally get this into a PSA slab. So the thing I'm struggling with is, again, buy the card. Again, the grade is not the end all be all, but this looks like an 8 to me. And I'd like it to, if I'm going to send it a PSA, I'd like it to be a PSA 8, because I feel like this is an 8. And SGC graded this recently. This was a 2021, I think, or something like that. So under the new grading standards that are out there, tougher grading standards, it looks like an 8 all day to me. But why do I feel like if I just send this slab into PSA, which the grading companies say they prefer, send us the slabs, don't do the crack out thing. Why do I feel like they're not going to give it an 8? And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you guys tell me in the chat. Am I negative, or am I thinking like conspiracy theory that my odds are better if I crack this out and sent it in of getting an 8? What do you?
I feel the same way. I think PSA has like this bias against, if SGC gave it an 8, then we got to give it a 7. But who was it? Was it Dom, or who was it that flipped the opposite way? They sent their card in to SGC and they boosted the grade. I forgot what company was the what. Man, was it John? It was John, 3D80s kid. You just had him on your show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he sent a card. Now it was the opposite. So he went from, what did he go from? From what to SGC?
Oh, no. Okay. He went from, it was an SG, Adam Vintage Sanctuary sent him Ernie Banks, I think it was. And it was a PSA 4. He cracked it out, sent it into SGC, and got a 5. So
so that's funny, right? So SGC's like, if they did it a 4, conspiracy theory aligned, we got to give it a 5 because they're harder than us. Like, that's your thought? Is the opposite going the other way? I get it. I would crack that out myself because of that same thought process.
I know, and I don't want to crack out like, especially something like this. Like,
oh, so scary.
I don't know, man. I don't want to do that. Like, I'd rather just like, I want to think the grading companies are unbiased, right? Like,
yeah.
If anything, it should be the other way around. Like, if I'm running a grading company, I want people to take a card like this out of SGC, my competitor's branded slab, and I want it in PSA slab. And guess what? If it's on the fence between a 7 or an 8, I'm going 8 because I want it in my, if I send this in and say I only want it crossed over if it's an 8, right? I'm going to go towards the 8 if it's like a, a judgment call. If it's not close, obviously you're not going to grade cards higher just because you want, none of that stuff. But I don't know. I would want more of the cards. I want more crossovers coming my way if I'm a grading company. But it seems like they don't. I don't know if it's more work. Maybe they don't want the responsibility of cracking cards out. I don't know, but
I'm assuming they have something that just like their machine that they do stamping and it just melts the plastic or whatever, pops it off super easy. That's my opinion. There's no way they're going in there with pliers. There's just no way. They have a system set up in place. That's why they want us to send them. I mean, us at home with pliers, it's just dangerous and crazy. But people do it all the time. There's no way they're doing that. There's just no way. They have a different system, just like they're putting them in. I think everyone in the chat saying it'd be one less. Yeah, but if you send it raw, it might not be one less because they don't know it was graded by SGC as an 8, right? I think you answered your own question.
I'm no double D pre-grading service here, but this thing looks like an 8 to me. I mean, again, but so
send it over here. I'll pre-grade it and then I'll send it in.
Is it the end of the world if it comes back a PSA 7? No, but that's a pretty big price difference actually in that card. If someday if I do sell the card, so I don't know, but that I think is something that I guess I'd have to crack it out, but maybe I'll just send it in and even if it costs me some money, I'll send it in the slab just to do another experiment and see if PSA gives it an 8, and I'll probably get it sent back and be out whatever.
Does PSA have the option to do that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they do. Okay, so you could say don't grade this, don't crack it out if it won't get an 8.
Yes, and I actually, the grading companies have told me when I've emailed them that they prefer, so they want that. They don't want people cracking cards and making them look bad on social media. Hey, look what this, they want you to send in the slab, but in my opinion, they don't incentivize it. Like they're not, I don't know, they're not doing it the right way. And that's the other thing with like PSA. Clearly, they've tightened up their grading, and I think probably SGC has too. But I don't know, at least a grade or two, it seems like, right? If you compare it to some of the older grades that they gave.
Look, I think everybody talks about that, and it's definitely true on a lot of things. But I have a lot of cards that are graded that are old ones that would grade the same today. It's not across the board. It's definitely not across the board. But yes, they have definitely gotten harder. I think that's definitely a fact. But I know it's not across the board because I have some 7s that look stunning and they have 0s, and they look like 8s. So there's always exceptions to every rule. Just look at the nice card. So, back to the SGC. What would you change? What do you like and what you don't like? I'll let you go first this time.
All right. So with SGC, I like the tux too, and I hear it all the time. People like the tux. I like the tux. Do I like? If I'm being honest, do I love the slab? No. It's too big. It's bulky. It feels a little cheap. The plastic feels a little cheap. Again, whatever CSG's using, guys. Well, is it that hard to get it yourself? I mean, do they have a patent on that? I don't think so. For me, it makes a big difference. I think we're in the age of collectors now. All this investing and stuff. I think that a lot of that's going away. What you're going to be left with is collectors who want to love what they are holding and looking at. I think slab quality, label, attractiveness, things like that are going to be more and more important. I know they are to me. But anyway, it looks good, right? But I'm someone who, unlike, you were saying, you just look at the card and you like, the slab, but the label doesn't really matter that much to you. The label matters to me. It's fine. I don't love the label. It's okay. It feels middle of the road quality to me. Like, it's okay. It's fine. But I do like the tuxedo. I love SGC, the company. I love, Peter, everything I've ever seen about it. I mean, he's just a great leader. It seems like great guy, great company, customer service, everything about it I love. But if I'm just looking at the product and I love the way they grade, I think they do a great job grading. But the end product is, I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. I think that's about how I would feel about it. I mean, there's no doubt that it looks really good with the black around it. My complaints would be, it's too bulky, it's too big, the plastic feels cheap, but no offense to them, but PSA's plastic feels exact same. It's both,
Yeah.
they're cheap. They both feel the same type of plastic. Like I was talking about earlier, I really, now that I mean, I don't like seeing the grade that big. I don't want to look
Right.
on my wall. I want to have it up on the top of my wall and not, I want to put a 2 up top or a 2 in my face and not see that it says 2
Right.
this big.
Way too
And
big.
like, way too big. I'm
Yeah.
not a high grade collector, so maybe someone that has all 8s, they want to proudly show that they have an 8. I don't want it to say 1.5 as big as the guy's head.
Right.
Like I just, the PSAs are perfect size because they're
Yes.
just, you really got to look. I think it just takes away a lot. And my wife is the one that really like ingrained that in me. She's like, nah, I just see the grade. That's all I see. Like the ones way up top. She's like, oh, I instantly like, oh, it says 2. So I'm like, I'm like, oh man, you're right. Totally right. And the backs of these, you know, they're fine. I don't know. They're just too big. I'm not sure why. I guess they kept them the same size as their originals so you can stack them. I wish they would have just bit the bullet and changed it completely and made it smaller when they went to the new branding of the tuxedo and made it just nice and thin and small like the PSA style. But I get it. Guys that collected SGC forever. I've had green SGC slabs, old SGC slabs. The thing's all faded.
Yeah.
I've had them forever, and yeah, you can stack them to the new ones. But really, who cares? Like, I wish they would have just bit the bullet right when they switched over and made the cases smaller. But they do have the greatest customer service, and they're so open. They're the only company that's super. I mean, I don't know if they're the only one that, but they're very open with everything and they're transparent. And their grading is spot on. When I send cards in and I guess my grades, you know, I'm not a professional grader, but I am a professional grader in my own mind, right? Like I've looked at cards long enough. I've looked at graded cards for 20 years. Like you learn, and I think if you put me in there, you'd be coming out with the exact grades as the other guys. You know, you're going to be up and down one grade. If it's a guy sitting here and a guy sitting there, you know, at least a half point. They're really accurate and they grade a lot on eye appeal. I know that the centered cards, from when I send center cards there, I can expect a higher grade than if I sent a centered card to PSA as far as just like that, and then other things are wrong with it. I love their grading criteria. I love everything about them. But yeah, if I were to change it, I want this thing smaller. They're not going to do that, of course. And the glass, like, come on, this is ridiculous. If you got two of the lower tier companies having the best slabs in the whole market, you guys need to step it up. It makes no sense.
That makes no sense. Think about that. Any other industry, like, I don't know, like any other, like watches or whatever, you know, that you expect the most expensive ones to like feel like the highest quality, right? I don't, and like the guys CSG tag, it's something that, you know, it's probably for a reason, right? Like, hey, they know like we have to eat some market share from PSA. What can we differentiate? Let's have a better quality slab. So it's good thinking. But yeah, it's like I just feel like none of these companies have put it all together. There's like one, oh man, the slab's good, great quality, it's clear, but don't love the label, or you know, whatever. There's always something.
It's so good. It's so easy for us. You know, we don't have to run these huge companies.
Oh yeah,
complain about things. But that's the fun of this. You know, that's the fun of this. And and you know, they will catch on. I guarantee you PSA is going to come out with a new plastic. Guarantee you SGC will. It's just like, when are they gonna? And tell us when you're going to. Maybe they don't want to tell us because we'll stop grading with them until
here's
they do.
Here's the problem with
will.
that. Someone like me who has 500 graded cards maybe at this point, and you have more. Like, okay, they come out with this awesome thing, right? PSA comes out with the best slab ever, and it's like, oh, I want that. Now I got 500 cards in these old slabs that, like, I'm like, okay, what do I do now? How the hell am I going to get all the, you know, I'm going to send, like, I'm not going to. So yeah, it's a bit of a conundrum we have here.
Yeah. Thanks, Orlando. I am good at grading.
Yes, you are. You could be a grader if you wanted to.
All right. So SGC, yeah, we love them. We love all these companies.
One last thing on SGC.
Yep.
I think I've heard Peter in an interview admit this, and it's something that they're working on a lot of things. I've heard them say for a while. Haven't seen a ton of new things, but this is their gold label. This is the equivalent of their like BGS black label.
Yeah, that's kind of, that gold looks kind of blah.
Yeah,
I
don't know, man.
The whole thing should have been gold.
Yes.
Should have been like, should have been like this, but gold. You're 9.5.
Yeah. So I think they could have, again, they could come out with something better, like they did a new label. They could come out with a new gold label. But here's the other issue. I checked this recently. If you have one of those old SGC slabs and you want to send it in and get it put into a new label, new slab, they charge the same amount as they charge to grade a card. So it's like $25 or whatever their normal rate is.
Interesting.
They're charging that to put it into a new holder label. Again, if I'm one of these companies, I understand you don't want to do it for free or anything, but don't you want some of these old labels out of the marketplace? And you like your new labels, right? Branding, don't you want those out there on social media and stuff rather than so don't you want to incentivize collectors to send in these old SGC labels? It seems like right now they're decentivizing by charging the full price, as they don't even have to regrade it. They're just putting it in a new holder and they're charging full rate, which seems wrong to me.
Yeah. Well, what with the SGC thing too, your 10 gold label, to me, it's just like shoot your own foot, because I get it with the subgrades on the BGS that you showed me, like all were 10s. You don't know what the subgrades are on the SGC. So a normal 10 SGC is now knocked down a podium. So they're never going to have the high demand, they're never going to get the high prices of a PSA 10, because PSA 10 that's it. That's the highest they go is 10. And SGC shooting themselves in the foot by doing a gold label 10. Why is a 10 gold? Why is a 10 not? All 10 should be 10s. I just,
Dylan, this is a better 10.
I know, see? 10, it's okay? So dumb. It makes me so mad. Like, I think that was a huge marketing mistake. I think that was not a good idea. It just makes all the other ones devalued.
So I paid way more than I should have for this card.
I know you did. I'm sure. I know how your mind works.
Oh man. Well, it's Larry Bird, so I'm willing to pay a little more for that. That's all right. Let's go. No, I already submit cards to SGC. So like that question of what would it take, I'm already doing it.
Me
so
too.
I like I'm a registry guy a little bit. I do the PSA registry. I know it's not for everyone. If you don't do registry, then a lot of this is, again, whatever you like the look of. But for player runs, if I'm going to do a player run, obviously I want to do it, if I can, all in the same slab so I can do the registry. It just adds a little more fun to it. All right. So do you want to do tag next or PSA?
Yeah, let's do tag. Let's do tag, because I know you don't have any tags. And right. All right, so tag right here, you guys. I have 3 of them. And I'm collecting soccer players. I'm just collecting Mbappe's. I have 3 of these in tags. I really wanted a tag graded card because I wanted to see what it felt like and see what it looked like. And as soon as you guys get a chance to hold one of these in your hand, you need to do it. Next time you're at a card show, ask the guy behind the counter to hold one of these. They are next level.
Wow.
Like, these are like a piece of glass. The edges are sanded, smooth. It puts CSG slabs to shame. The clarity, I am blown away by the quality of these slabs. Like I said, I would switch every single card I own to put my cards in slabs like this. Tag grading, there's a lot of issues with tag grading. They don't grade any old cards right now, and you can't even. I went on their website because I was going to order a package to get cards graded. They were sold out. Whether that's they're pausing, I don't know. I wrote an email. I went on their chat. I got no responses. Sorry, tag, but I didn't get anything back. And I was on the website looking around because they have such a cool program. I don't know if you guys have seen anyone break these things, but when you send cards in, they put them and they wrap them in like a pack of baseball cards. So you open it up. So each card's individually wrapped. So they're packaging. And, most of us are suckers for good packaging. Like when you get an SGC box, if you have enough, it's like, yes. But these guys do a next level. They put them in packs. So you don't know the card and you open it up like a baseball card pack, and it's mind-blowing. Like it's the coolest packaging system I've seen. They're really stepping it up with all that, but the flaws I see that they're going down, in my opinion, see the number 917 right there, and then the same another 927. To me, that's just setting yourself up for failure, because it leaves the doubt in your mind. Do you pay more for this one that's a higher 9, a 27 or a 915? Like, to me, it's just like the subgrades and just like the 9.5 BGS. It shoots yourself in the foot. I get the fact that they give you all this information when you scan this, and it tells you all the details, which is great, but you don't need to put the number on the slab. Keep the number back and don't put it on the slab, because most of us buying slabs aren't going to go detailed and go buy a $50 slab and look at all the information. When you get it home, you want to look at the information, great. But in the meantime, on the aftermarket for these things, where's the prices going to be? Like, all of a sudden you have say you have I have the scale over there, say it's 950, and then 951's a 10. So you buy a 950 that's a 9. What do you pay for that? It just leaves this leeway that I really think that they should not have done, and I hope they change that. And I really love AI grading. I'm all about it. I think it's really fantastic. I don't understand why other companies say, even Nat Turner, I think it is, the head of PSA, says that you'll never see that completely because the technology. I don't know. Obviously, he probably knows more than me, but to me, how is that possible? There's so much things that AI can do. How can you can't scan 10 PSA 10s of this card or whatever's out there, put that in the system, and then when those come in, you scan every grade possible, and then you get your grading scale going, and the AI learns it, right? To me, if I could send cards in somewhere and no human has to touch it besides put it on the AI machine and they scan it, tell me the exact grade. These guys, you could send this card in 100 times, they say, and you'll get the exact same grade. To me, that's the game changer. You get PSA doing that. I hate the fact that it's just some guy like me grading this card. Tomorrow I send this in, it's a 5.5. The day after it's a 6. The day after it's a 4.5. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense because that's what we've had, the technology, but the technology now I think is out there. And if it isn't, it's coming. And I think Tag's on the forefront of it. I'm not a super fan of Tag. I think, they have a lot to prove, but right now I would send a lot of cards in, vintage cards in to get graded if I could have them in slabs like this. I don't care what the aftermarket is at the moment. I would send my nostalgic cards in there just because they look so dang good and they feel like glass. I mean, I put this in my wife's hand, all these slabs in my wife's hand. I know she's not a collector, guys. She was fascinated with this one. She said it literally felt like holding a piece of glass. So that's my take on Tag. They're obviously new, and you don't go investing a bunch of money in Tag and buying all their cards. It's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm buying all my soccer cards in Tag, just because I'm going to just stick with that. I don't buy very many soccer cards, and it's just for me and my nephew to hang out, and we get to have a good time collecting those cards. Tag, gosh, man, I hope they do vintage, and I hope, guys, yeah, that's it. So anything to say on Tag?
Yeah, well, first of all, that from here, that thing looks incredible. I mean, because that's the thing. It's if you're grading cards for resale value, there's one option. Go pretty much. I mean, you could go SGC. They're close to PSA with certain vintage, but if you're grading based on money and what you can sell it for, PSA, okay. But for a lot of people that don't plan on selling these and want to display them, and maybe we'll sell them in 20 years or whatever. What you're looking at is something you want to look at, something that feels cool and looks cool. The label, the slab, it's a collectible, not just the card. When you're grading cards, if you're taking resale value out of the equation, don't you want to go for what you think looks the best? Of course, you don't want to put it in a company slabs that might not be around in 20 years, right? And it creates some issues. But I think you got to look at, that slab looks awesome. And it's so funny. We didn't talk about this, but that was what I was going to say is the one issue I have with Tag is that 1,000 scale thing. I'm fine with the 1,000 scale thing. I hate it on the front of the slab.
Yeah,
It like, especially on a 10, right? If you get a tag 10, that's awesome. Wow, this is a 10. But then you got the 964 on the thing. It's totally like, maybe it's my own OCD, but that totally like messes with my head. Like,
totally.
I had a 10, but now it's like, oh, but it's not real. It's it's 40 points off like the best car. I don't know. Like, it's just, I think, totally unnecessary for me.
Yeah. And I think Dom's right. I really doubt. I mean, I would not be surprised if this company's not around in 6 months. Like, totally. I never heard anything back from them, and I was on their website with a live chat person, and
that's tough.
I mean, start a grading company is like, to me, it's like the dumbest business you could ever start. Like, it's insane, right?
It's a great business. No,
we're a very passionate group here as collectors, and you really gotta come in with a heavy hitting product to really stand out and to let us, to make us happy like us. I mean, I'm just like, so I'm with Dom. I mean, dude, these could be completely gone in so, but just the feel of them, just that part of it is a collector mindset. The look of it, man, there's just nothing like it. So we'll move on from tag. Lot to learn, lot to do, lot of future stuff going on in grading, which they're pushing it, which is great to see because it'll push other companies.
Yeah, I mean, last point on that is, like, for me, everyone has different opinions, but I like the look of a card when it's in a slab that has a label on it, and more than like in a top loader or a one touch. I don't know, for whatever reason, I just don't. They like, obviously, if there's a huge, like, I don't know what a top load, what a one touch costs, right? What is it?
Dude, they're like $4.
$4. Okay, so it costs $4 to put your card in a one touch. And I can grade my card for now, maybe in the future, like, I don't know, $9. Like, again, who cares about the grade, right? But just like from liking it as a collectible, I like it having a label, a slab for, if I could get it from, that's just me. Like, but I understand why people don't want to deal with the whole grading thing, but that's the way I look at it. Because one of my next goals, it could take years, but I want to have a display like you. I want to have a wall.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah, because I feel like the end game is like creating an awesome room that has where you're displaying a good bunch of your graded cards. Because like that's what they're meant for. They're meant to be displayed, in my opinion. Like, I've kept cards in boxes for so long, shoe boxes, and it's kind of like, at some point I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, if I'm
it's
paying
just accumulation,
I should be showing them off, like,
at that
free,
point.
even just for me to look at. So.
Yeah. Well, right, I totally get that. I love that you brought up the one touches, because I thought about that before we were discussing this. I'm like, dude, one touches are $4. At the local LCS over here, they're like almost $6. So if I want to support them, it's like I can almost get a great graded card. But this is how I do it. You guys have all seen my own. The option is you grade your own cards, and you make your own labels, you make your own slabs, and you put them in, card savers. And I love that. So I have a huge collection, like up to like 1,500 cards I graded myself in my collection. And slowly, as the price of grading is coming back down, because I wasn't grading cards before, I was just buying graded cards, but I've collected these cards and put these things in forever. So slowly I'm taking them out and getting them graded as the cards come down. If I would have been grading cards in if they're $8, if I was grading cards back before YouTube on my own, I probably should have sent a bunch of these in, but I wasn't doing that. I was just buying them already graded or grading them myself. So yeah. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us. There's always options. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can make your own labels, buy Avery labels, and they look stunning like this, and you can put them on your wall, and I have them on my wall. So there are options, but I agree, the museum quality of having cards labeled in a slab is next level awesome.
Sorry, real quick. What do you think about, like, what if I don't know how expensive this would be, but like, what if a grading company offered UV protected slabs?
They do. There are. I think there's actually. Don't quote me on this, but I believe some of these. I think even tag. I think a few of these have slightly UV protection. I think people overestimate protection of UV glass itself. It's not going to save your cards from straight window glare. Trust me, I tested. I have really expensive UV museum glass that I bought and I custom cut, and it's thick. I tested. I put a whole sheet on in a direct window and put cards up, and then the ones behind the UV glass still faded. So, you know, I think it's overestimated. Like the one touches that say UV protected. Yeah, they're UV protected, but really the sun's going to blast you. It's like putting sunscreen on. I'm still tan
Right.
and I load up on sunscreen. It's not, you got to protect your own cards from light, from actual sunlight regardless. So I think the UV thing is kind of over. Like, really, I don't care if these are UV protected, because the little thin UV on this thin glass, it's not going to do anything. It really won't.
Okay. Because I know I mean, one of the first videos I ever saw on your channel was when you were going over how you have museum grade glass, and like, I was sold on your channel. I didn't even know you then, but like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This guy built his own display with museum grade glass. Like, that was, for me, that was like, this is awesome. I love it.
Dude, so I started with the toy wall, right? And I had my cards in this little corner where there was no sunlight. If you see these boxes, before I had glass on them, my wife's toy boxes, the whole front's a different color.
Wow.
Like, completely faded out. So once I realized I was going to do a giant wall, I stepped up my game big time. And my windows are
a whole episode on that.
Oh,
I want to do a whole episode on displays, and like, because I need help. Like, it's for me, really. I need help with that. Like, I'm at like a 0 out of 10 with the display game. Horrible.
Well, I'm going on John's Sports Card Nation, John Newman's show. We're going to talk about what I did, the displays, and how to protect your cards, and like in my safe. Whole nother conversation.
Awesome.
But okay, We'll get back to it. Sorry, guys.
No, that's great. All right, let's finish it up with PSA, the behemoth in the industry. Actually, before we get into that, I have my second question that I want to get some feedback on from you, Dylan, and anyone who watches this in the comments or whatever. All right, so again, this is, some people probably don't care about this, but for me, it like bugs me, right? So I got this awesome card here, 1957 Topps, Yankees power hitters, Mantle Berra, PSA 6, awesome looking card. I love it. But I don't know if you can see it, it's got one of those old labels and it's literally like wrinkled.
Oh, yeah. The wave.
Look at it. It's got a wave, and like, it bothers me. Again, if I'm displaying cards, having to look at that label over and over is going to drive me nuts, because I have OCD with that. So, all right. So what are my options? I can send this thing to PSA and tell them, put it in a new, was graded a long time ago. It's got a 3 and starting serial number. If I sent this in and said, put it in a new label or whatever, or a new slab, they're not going to regrade it. But are they going to keep the same serial number and just put it in a new label on it? Is that how that works? Do you know?
I don't know. And I've kind of always wondered that question. I'm sure it's as simple as like typing it in and asking the internet, but it is definitely something that is going to happen. And if it's not happening already, people are definitely sending their cards in to getting reslabbed, because the price is, you could see on a $500 card like that, you'll see an extra $50, $100 in a new slab, in my opinion. And I think they probably keep the same serial numbers, but even if they do keep the same serial numbers, most of us, me anyways, buying cards, I'm not going on there to find out when that thing was made. If it's got a new label, to me, it was like a fresh grade. Like, okay, there it is. So I'm not sure that they answer that question. Hopefully someone can answer that for us, but it's a very good thought.
Because I think I did look on their website. Because that's the other thing with these companies is like, there's very little customer service. I mean, I guess I could call up if I can get someone on the phone. I send an email, they get back to me in 5 days. But yeah, like long term, yeah, I'd like to. I don't know. Long term, I'd probably rather, like, hopefully in the future, PSA has like local offices or whatever. Like, I don't know how they would do it, but I would love to just like physically go in somewhere locally and get it reslabbed with a new label. If they don't have to regrade it, shouldn't there be like, whether it's in a Fanatics card shop in the future or something,
awesome.
Like that would be good, where I don't want to like send it through the mail and all that stuff. Like, I'd rather just walk in with a stack of these old things and just like, hey, whatever, I'll sit here and wait, or I'll pick it up tomorrow. But I don't know.
I like, do you see Forley's comment? I just wait until I just wait until they get the new clear glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, he's right. We don't send anything in until they fix their issue, right?
Yeah, like in all this stuff, I'm gonna wait. Like, yeah, like you said, I think there's gonna be over the next year or so. There's gonna be some major changes, probably with like new slabs, new options. I just feel like there hasn't been a ton, and that's probably coming. That's just the way.
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of feel that.
has to be. It absolutely has to be.
Yeah.
Do you have any other issues with PSA slabs?
I like the labels. I like you said, the grade isn't like 50,000 font, which is nice. You know, it's the card is the centerpiece, right? Not the, hey, this is a 4, you know, and it's like you can't see anything but the 4.
Yes.
The card is the centerpiece. I'm fine with I like not this label. I like the newer labels better. But that's the other thing I wonder, like, because there is a premium, those new labels. So like, I guess a lot of people would probably do that, right? Eventually, because if this card, let's say this card, I think this is a nice 6, but if I graded today, I don't know, would it get a 5 maybe, or like the way they grade now? So, but if I have a new label on it and I went to sell it, people would probably, like you said, they probably wouldn't look at, oh, it starts with a 3. Some would, but some of them would just say, oh, must have been recently graded, so it's a true 6, right? So it would probably sell for more than maybe what this would sell for in this label here. So I like the slabs are fine. They're okay. Like, not the clearest, but they're not the cloudiest. They're like probably middle of the road. The labels are good. I like the labels. Slab quality is kind of middle of the road, but they have the registry, they have the history, so they sell for the most. So that's why they're the king. And yeah, I think I like from a display thing, I like PSA. That's why I've graded most of my cards with them. So yeah, I don't see, other than like, yeah, if they came out with like a tag type of slab, I don't really see much they would do, to innovate or whatever.
I have one big complaint with PSA, and I've talked about this before. I don't have one in front of me. I wish I did. I don't know, all the bigger Topps cards from 56 and prior, they have on the bottom of it, they have the label PSA right here, and it goes over top of the card. And it makes me so mad. I have a Yogi on my wall, a 52 Yogi. I have quite a few other cards that literally it hides the corners of the cards, and it just I don't know, it just bothers the heck out of me. Who the heck thought that was a good idea to put up that PSA logo right where the card is? Because the cards are oversized. Like, have a new case for those. Don't let that thing. It's one of those simple fixes that someone at PSA should have just been like, okay, no, let's not do that mold. Let's stop that mold right now. Yeah, Doug, and move past. But otherwise, yeah, PSA slabs are very nice. They're very like museum looking. That they're thin. They stack perfectly. I love the labels. Maybe it's just because we're used to the red, and they're just museum style. They're museum style. Yeah. They're just fantastic.
That's the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thin. I love that they're like thin, right?
Yeah, they're
whereas
almost as thin as
SGC is
the
like
card.
double the thickness, which it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I only have so much storage here, right?
Exactly.
Like, how much storage? And I do love the fact that you can scan. Like, I'm really confused why SGC doesn't have a scanner on the back of their cards yet. I love those. I forgot what those scanner things are called. They're just awesome, right? You scan it, tells you the pop report, tells you when it was graded. All the new ones have this.
Like a QR code.
The QR code.
Yeah,
Man, I love the QR code. It's ingenious, and it really gives this a sense of like what it is. You pick it up and you scan it. I don't know why SGC hasn't done that. Another thing SGC should be working on. Makes no sense to me. So that's it. That's kind of my only complaint. I think PSA does a great job. Everybody poo-poos them for a lot of reasons, but they're the kings. They do a really nice job, and we like them for a reason. All they got to do is just change their glass up, and man, they're the kings. That's it.
But yeah, from a grading perspective, it does bug me a little bit that I feel like they've changed their, like, they say no, we have the same grading standards as we always have, but come on, I mean that is the most ridiculous. Anyone who is looking, like, they've clearly gotten stricter on their grading. It's not even a question. Like,
Yeah.
they clearly have. You might have the same standards, but when Nat Turner or whatever, all the leadership now came in, did they probably say like, hey, we're not adhering to our standards. We need to adhere to the standards of, like, yeah, you're not saying, hey, we're going to be stricter, but in so many words, they probably said like, hey, grade everything a grade tougher now, like pretty much.
I mean, I know. I like I said earlier, I'm not 100% on board with that. I have a lot of older slabs that look just as good as the newer graded versions. Like, they would grade the same. I know they would. They're definitely, I'm sure it's mostly true what you guys are saying, but I push back on that because I have a lot of good looking sevens that will grade sevens. I know they will. They look the same. They look fantastic. They look like eights. Like, good sevens look like eights, and good eights look like nines. So, well, but yeah.
I've just decided in my mind. I'm sending this baby in the slab. I'm not cracking it out. And everyone says it's going to be a 7 or lower, probably with PSA. But we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Be nice to see.
This thing's an 8. This thing is an 8 all day. Okay. This is an 8 all day, and it should get a PSA 8. We'll see what it gets. We'll see what because they're in their mind, maybe they're looking at it like, oh, it's an SGC 8. It can't possibly be a PSA 8 because it's an SGC 8.
Yeah.
That's the feeling out there. We'll see. But
well, one more thing we need to touch on that happened to me this week. Okay, you guys. Now, I guess there's no serial numbers. I don't have the card anymore. I bought this card, okay, this week on eBay. I had it delivered to my house. I had been looking. I sold all my Yas. I had 3 of them. I sold them all looking for a better centered, better image, because all of mine had like marks and stuff like over here. So I saw this. The guy was asking like a legit seller, 100% feedback rating, sold like 3,000 plus items, PSA graded, BVG, it was all over the place. Didn't matter. And I go, man, that looks killer. Looks so good. There's nothing wrong with the image. So I bought it and I received this HGA and I was all excited about it. I pulled it out of the pack and I knew instantly it was a counterfeit card. 100%. It wasn't even a question. Like, the picture was, I couldn't zoom in like and see the pixels on eBay, which a lot of guys don't. Even SGC, when they scan your cards, you can't really see the pixels that well. They don't have the best high quality scans available. I have a great scanner. So I knew I didn't even have to scan it. I knew it was a photocopy fake. And I got it. And I kind of thought that when I bought it too. I'm like, God, thing's so perfect. Like, there's no image issues. And I'm like, man. And sure enough, I'm not going to mention the guy's seller name because he was totally cool. He returned it. I reached out to HGA. They did not reply to me. He said he's going to deal with them. But I don't want to get him in trouble because he didn't know. He was like totally cool. He's like, wow, no way you knew that instantly. And then without just knowing instantly, just to back it up, I scanned it high res, double checked. I'm like, yeah, this is full blown Xerox copy style. And then I went to Ryan Nolan's book, which I just love. And I went in there and I was like finding out how other ways. So I did the light test was huge and I could see right through and I could see the other side. And I grabbed my other 60s cards and I had some scans, high res scans, the same exact card for ones that I sold. Check those. Wasn't even close. So I didn't have to go through the authentication eBay. It was $255. I put an offer in and I was so stoked. Well, perfectly centered. Because I don't know if you guys don't know this, but if you have a PO box, they bypass that whole authentication. I've never had one card go to eBay authentication ever, but I've also had to send 2 cards back. I got a Hank Aaron rookie. I bought a second one like 3 months ago, and the case looked like it had been wedged on one side. The card was nice, but I was scared if I ever had to resell it. So I sent that one back as well. This card blew my mind. I got a fake one and I wasn't going to do a whole video and blast it off. It just no need for that. But I'll never buy an HGA case again. And obviously I knew that there were things floating around, but I knew once I got the card, I'd be able to look at it. So that was crazy. It blew my mind.
That is crazy. And then that's kind of, I should have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, that's a big, obviously authentication is a big, that's a big deal, right? Like obviously we've been focusing on a lot on like the looks and the quality, but at the heart of it, yeah, authentication is, that's important, right? That's one of the, that's a huge part of this whole thing. So that is crazy because HGA, man, yeah, they did some good things. Like I think with the custom labels and all that stuff.
Side slab was sick. I was like,
the horizontal with the great idea.
Put it on my normal wall.
Yep, great idea. And another thing, PSA should just easily steal. Like they should just steal that right away and be like, yeah, we'll do that if you
an
want
option at least
$10 or whatever.
Yeah. I know these slabs cost a lot of money to make. Like I don't know how much, but it's probably 10 grand just to like produce the mold to make a slab. It's very expensive. I know that because I used to work in an industry that created molds for surfboards. Molds are really expensive. Custom molds for any packaging and things like this, they're expensive, but 10 grand in a PSA, it's a shot in the dark. It's nothing. Yeah, crazy. I've never had a fake card before. I've purchased cards raw that I thought were fake, and then I would scan them and check them and realize not. So that was my very first fake card I've ever bought, and it was graded by a company, obviously a lower tier company, but dude, anyone grading over there like could have seen that right away in hand. Second I pulled it out, I knew it was fake. Oh, this isn't real.
Did they even look at the card, you think, or what? Jeez,
doesn't even make sense. It's crazy. So there we go.
Well, that's a cautionary tale because you could get like distracted by the look at those labels and awesome, but at the heart of it, they might not know a real versus a fake card, which is a reason why you shouldn't spend your money with them.
Doug said like the incompetency, it means they just had random people that are grading cards. They have no one anyone who's collected vintage for a long time knows what a real card looks like, especially when it's not in a slab. I knew looking at in a slab, it's obvious for anyone who's been doing it a long time, but a novice person was going to go buy that card and they're not going to have a clue, and they're going to have it on their wall, and then someone like me or like you or someone else is going to find that card one day and be like, dude, this is not real.
Well, and exactly, Dom, that's one of the most iconic cards ever. So that's more prone to be faked because it's such a well-known image and card. So, but that's kind of the larger point, which is like, there's a reason why we focused on the major grading companies for the most part when we talk about this, because I'm not saying like, hey, someone should start a grading company and do this and this and this, and because it's such a hard business. Like you need skilled people that know how to authenticate card. I mean, I don't even think there should be any more new grading companies at this point. But what I think these companies that are all established already, that have done the hardest part, which is getting off the ground and getting graders and getting infrastructure like Beckett and SGC. We're just talking about like some tweaks they could make that might make a big difference. Getting a little new label or having an option for a premium slab or something like that. Like they're already established somewhat. They can make moves a little better that would be more effective. Like, to start a new grading company and say, hey, we're going to get the best slabs. And the boat sailed, in my opinion, on that stuff. It's like, we have what we have now. And it's just going to be like, what moves are they going to make to see, hey, can we move from number 4 to number 2, or could we even challenge number 1? But I honestly don't see any, other than like a Fanatics or something. I don't see anyone coming in that's going to start a new grading company and make a dent, because to the point earlier too, collectors like me and you, we already have hundreds of slabs of these other companies. I'm not looking to start with a new company. I'm looking for those companies to maybe do a little better so I can continue on with them and enjoy a little more or whatever, have them improve certain things. I don't really want to start with a new company, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wanted to see what the tags look like, and I'm going to collect certain things, but I agree 100%. And the whole point of having a graded company card is for, we didn't touch on it until authenticate, make sure the card is real. That's the whole point, whole reason I started buying graded cards to begin with, because I was a guy who no one told me how to collect vintage cards. I just loved them. The only way I knew I was getting a real one was because I would buy a PSA graded card or a Beckett graded card or SGC. So yeah, it's awesome.
Now
Yeah.
we might see. I could see some like. Would you be shocked if some of these companies partnered up? Like if SGC and CSG combined forces somehow, like one bought the other, or they merged and said like, hey, we got SGC, we got some great things going here. We don't have a registry. We have lower quality slabs, but we got great everything else. CSG's got the great slabs. They got a registry. What if they somehow combine forces, and in the registry, you could count your SGC cards and CSG. Like if you already have a bunch of both, they both count towards that one registry. Like is that inconceivable that two companies like that could combine forces and make a dent? I don't know. I mean,
no, of course it's not. It's a business, right? It's a business. All businesses do that. They become, they buy each other out, and yeah, of course that could totally happen. I mean, sky's the limit here. Yeah, do you see Orlando's ISA?
I know of the.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Really, we need another one. All of us who've been in this so long, it's like, you guys are just silly for starting a new company. Tag, you guys are out of your mind. CSG only they got in because they were doing comics. But guys that to start a new grading company is I will say here, it's the dumbest business you could get into because it's so hard to crack our collectors' shells. It's just so hard. So yeah, Jeff, Geoff,
Geoff,
I don't know. Jeff's a nice guy. I like him. I watch a lot of his shows. I know a lot of people on here don't care for his shows. I like him as a person. I think he's building the hobby up. I'll take a lot of heat for this, I know, but I'll just delete a negative comment anyway. So,
well, look, I mean, anyone who comes in and gets that big of a following, you gotta know that, like, if I'm coming in and I got 100,000 subscribers, and you're gonna expect that, like, people are gonna take shots at you. You just have to. That's just how it's gonna work on the internet. You know what I mean? So you don't get into that not knowing, like, that's what's gonna happen. And not everyone's gonna just love me. It's just I'm a big target now because that's it. When you Google sports cards or you go on YouTube and type in sports cards, he's coming up. So. Whatever. Yeah, it's.
I mean, I've gotten some weird comments myself, and I know the bigger you get, and it's a hard space to, like, a mental space. You really have to. We were on a text thread today talking about negative comments, and the whole reason I never wanted to do YouTube in the beginning and put my face out there on Instagram before is because there's a lot of trolls out there, a lot of people who are super negative and super adamant about their position. And I am trying to focus on the fact that, you can, and Dom reminded me earlier, you can just delete them. And I said that in the beginning, you can just delete those comments and not let it bother you. Sometimes you want to, like, get on there and type, and then you just have to, like, calm yourself and just be like, it's okay. Just let it go. That's one of those things. And Jeff's definitely not perfect, and I'm not defending him in any way, shape, or form. I think there's a place in the hobby for guys like that, and there's a place in the hobby for everyone. It's a hobby. It's a fun thing. It's baseball cards, and it's cards. It's a great time, and he's a business. He turned into a business so he can get more heat than most people. But so off topic tonight.
No, but yeah, like, to sum it up, like, I know some people might look at this and go, like, you're nuts. Like, first of all, you're nuts for grading cards, but then you're crazy for, like, being so specific on what. But for me, like, this is the product. You know what I mean? Like, this is the product that I'm collecting. It's the cards, yes, but I'm choosing to collect them in these cases, right? So obviously, yeah, I want the cases that look the best, and I like collecting the most, and I like looking at and holding and stuff. So that's why, like, I focus on this stuff because, some of this stuff's kind of obvious to me. I know it's not easy. Like, they're not easy changes to make as a company, but if you're running a business, it's pretty universal. A lot of these things that people are saying over and over and over about your slabs or about your labels, and the fact that we don't see a ton of changes, it's a little baffling to me sometimes. I don't know. It's weird.
I agree. Yeah, we all.
This might be the best comment. to end on.
Dude, we're all nuts.
4-leaf, you nailed it, man. We're nuts.
And our wives put up with us. That's awesome.
Yep. What else? I think that we went for a while, an hour and a half, a long time.
That was so much fun. Everybody in the chat, you know, if there's anyone I know Doug and 4-leaf and Orlando and anyone who joined in, and man, we really appreciate it. That was really cool. Super stoked.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's commented and joined this tonight. There was a lot of lives tonight. So
dude, there was like 5 of them. I was on a whole bunch beforehand.
That's what. Yeah, I was
this one to that one.
I was setting this thing up, and I was getting like pinged with like this person's live, this person's live. Oh man,
I know. Yeah,
but that's great. You know what it is? It's great. There's so many channels now. There's so many channels coming together, like doing lives together, and I even since like 2 years ago, I didn't see a ton of that. Like that seems like more of a newer thing now. Like that, all these more. It seems like there's more. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it seems like there's more collaborations and like people doing 5-person live chats. And so I don't know. I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. It gives all of us something to do when we're bored at the house. It's awesome. This is awesome.
The challenge now is trying to like not be on YouTube too much. That's the challenge now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm out. My drink's empty, so I gotta end this thing.
Time to go.
Hey,
thanks, guys.
This was fun.
Yeah,
and I like doing lives. I don't know if we'll do every one live, but every once in a while that'd be cool.
Yeah, worked for me. I had a good time.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, Dylan. Thanks, man. As always, love talking with you.
Thanks, Alan. It was a blast.
All right.